early, but I'm up early. Figured we'll get this thing done early, and if you're able to watch it live, cool beans. If you're not, if you're catching it on the replay at 8 a.m. where we normally would be, cool beans also. All I'll say is daylight saving time. Good old daylight saving time. Anyway, good morning to you. I'm broadcasting this live at 6:31 in the morning. Here we are. I'm certain I'm not the only one that was awakened a little earlier than you would have liked, but here we are. Time change day. Good morning to you, Marie. Good morning. I'm glad to see you here. All right. It may be 6:32 now, but hey, the sun is on its way up. It's a beautiful morning. There's a shot in downtown Orlando, of course, because we fall back. We have the earlier sunrise, earlier sunset. So there's downtown Orlando looking very, very nice. Let me take you over to the shoreline. Let's see what's doing. We'll start with New Smyrna Beach. Lynn says the kids were up at 4:30. Yeah, that's that's what this time change does, right? Yeah. Beautiful looking out to New Smyrna Beach, right? Couple of people walking, not much beach though this morning. Down to Port Canaveral we go. Victoria, David, good morning. David Harrison, David Eisenberg, good morning. Here's Wonder of the Seas. Beautiful, beautiful sunrise. So we're beginning to see that sunrise. Just a reminder, the new sunrise and sunset times. That doesn't look like Cam updated this, but it'll work. Daylight saving time ended this morning at 2 a.m. So the sunrise for Orlando is technically 6:39 now, which also means the sunset time is 5:38. Woof. Mm. Winter, right? All right. So that's kind of where we're at this morning. First warning, live Doppler radar. Let's check in, see what's doing. And it's fairly quiet. There are a few showers off the shoreline. Those are rooster rings over the inland areas. Basically, birds taking off as the sun is coming on up. But there are a few spotty showers. The reason I'm here a little early is we're going to go for a little morning sunrise flight. Haven't gotten to take the kids and everybody up for a while, so that'll be fun. So yeah, couple of offshore showers. They'll be sneaking in and kind of fading as they do so. Oh, Chris, you'll be on that one on Friday. Ooh, I hope for good weather for you. All right, temperatures out the door. This is why I said fall back, not in the temperatures, but in the clock, right? 71 degrees right now in the city. It's 71 degrees in Leesburg, 69 in Ocala, 72 in Palm Coast. And here's our forecast: 15-mile-an-hour breeze, gusting to 20. It's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be a beautiful day. It will be. Yeah. Can roosters fly? I never understood why they called them rooster rings, to be honest with you. Yeah, definitely point taken there. But yeah, it's a beautiful morning. I think it's going to be an absolutely beautiful day. There will be a few sprinkles, not like yesterday. Yesterday we had plenty of showers, a few sprinkles here or there. But yeah, looks like a nice one. Looks like a really nice forecast for us. So if you've got out and about plans, that fresh breeze will be with us. Temperatures are going to be in the ballpark of normal, a little higher than normal, right? 83 is our forecast in Orlando. Um, Average is 81 this time of year, so we're going to be running just a little bit warmer, right? 81 at Daytona Beach, 82 degrees today in Melbourne. Really a nice forecast. The next couple of days are going to be overall a nice forecast. We do have some interesting weather kind of impacting us. And so for that, I think, we don't necessarily need to get into looking at Futurecast today because there's only going to be kind of a hit or miss shower, right? I think the bigger story is going to be what does this week bring us, right? Now, we've been watching the tropics, we've been watching Invest 97. It was tagged Invest 97 late last night, or actually, it would have been like yesterday afternoon. There's the satellite presentation, all right? Winds are at 30 miles an hour. It is south of Kingston, Jamaica. For those of you that like to kind of track this sort of thing, There it is, right? And you can see it's already encountering some wind shear. There's definitely moisture bubbling up with it. Okay, now Invest 97 has a high likelihood of developing over the next couple of days' time. 80% chance of this developing over the next 2 days' time. And the whole time we had been mentioning late in the weekend into early work week, there would be something trying to get going, right? This is that. And the whole time I've been sharing models with you, I've been sharing, this is what this model's saying. The odds. They kept kind of pushing it further and further and further out, and now we're starting to kind of see things come to fruition, right? Um, Heavy rain kind of around Jamaica, then over to Cuba, and then after that, where does it go? That's of course the big question, the struggle, right? So let's take a look at the computer forecast models. All right, it says models and cone. I don't know why. There's no cone. But there's kind of the spaghetti models, if you were. Okay. So you've got most camps basically bringing it into the Gulf. And then after that, the timing of the front makes this difficult. It's going to be close-ish to us, right? Close-ish to the peninsula. In terms of intensity, I'll tell you, thankfully, there's a lot of wind shear. So this is not going to be like a Helene Milton type thing. But it gets close, and then a lot of the models are like, no, we're going to go along the front. This one, we're going to like ride along. So there's a lot of uncertainty in where it ends up going. But because it should be weak and sloppy, you're going to have the track coming here, but there's going to be a ton of moisture on the right side of it. Okay. And that's kind of why for us, and I'll show you this, that's why on our 7-day forecast, as this sloppy low lifts into the Gulf of Mexico, we have to track the tropics because watching those rain chances rise is no surprise. Um, Election day is on Tuesday, right? Hit the polls if you haven't done so already. Wednesday, Thursday, rain chances really going up because we're looking at kind of this big sloppy area of low pressure. Okay. So let's do this. Okay. Let's look at the intensity models for Invest 97. I'm happy to report we do not suspect that this is going to become anything big, bad, powerful. Okay. The guidance clearly is saying we'll probably have a tropical storm form. All right. Which if it does get a name, the next name on the list, by the way, would be Raphael. Okay, so there's that. But yeah, that's going to play into our 7-day forecast because and we'll look at futurecast, we'll look at all the global models, right? But yeah, so Wednesday, Thursday, we're thinking wet. All right, so that's how this is going to play into us. We're not expecting a big bad hurricane. I'm going to say it again. We're not expecting a big bad hurricane. I'm going to say it one more time for the folks in the back. We're not expecting a big bad hurricane. Okay, so let me do this. We'll hit you. We'll hit you. I. Oh, you know what? We'll do it this way. Futurecast. I gotta find because I've got all the local futurecasts, but I was trying to find kind of the wide nasty shot. Here we are. This is the nasty shot of futurecast. All right. So you can kind of see, by the way, just to reveal, that's the model grid we have for Futurecast. You see how it does not go all the way out to the Atlantic, for example? Yeah. All right. So there it is. Organizing. Okay. I definitely want to restart this computer because it's getting grumpy. So that's tomorrow, 10 a.m. Kind of starting to look like a little bit of a tropical storm or a depression or something like that around Jamaica. All right. Wrapping up near Jamaica, kind of riding along the northern shoreline. Definitely undergoing tropical cyclogenesis. There it is, south of Cuba. That's going to be 6 a.m. on Tuesday. Rolling along the southern shoreline of Cuba, looking better organized. Yeah. Coming ashore, kind of taking its toll on Cuba. And that's as far out as that goes. Over Havana, late Tuesday, early Wednesday. So that's again, that's as far out as our Futurecast goes. But a reminder, right? Like Futurecast is a shorter term, higher resolution grid. So to that point, there's that. Um, for kind of more on that, we can look at the global models, right, and see what they're saying. So for that, let's dial up GFS, and I understand I'm here early, but the 60 because of the time change, it may be 6:41, but we're essentially a couple of minutes before when I used to do coffee talk, right? So and the computer models do not shift. So we're almost done. Actually, we are completely done with the 6Z run. So we've got all the same model data as if I was here with you at 8 o'clock. Okay, just for your situational awareness. Marilyn says I'm so confused. It's not even 7 yet. Yeah, kids woke us up, so we're gonna go fly this morning. So I figured pop into coffee talk early, do the coffee talk thing. All the model data that would be here would be here. So we'll do this. For those that can make it live, cool. Thank you for hanging. For those of you that are going to show up and watch it on the tape delay, sorry about that. Sorry. I always tell you, real life is more important, right? And so here we are. And at the end of the day, like we're still doing it. It's just people that are showing up at 8 o'clock are going to get the tape delay. And I love you and I'm sorry. All right. So, area of low pressure crossing Cuba. Okay, so that's going now 12Z. So now that's 7 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. All right, so that's 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Kind of a beam, Florida. Also love that there's more, but we'll digress. And then kind of mouth of the Mississippi, Mobile Bay area, kind of somewhere in there. And then like love that the GFS is throwing another thing. Cool. All right, we'll just roll through that through the Bahamas and then fading out. And then you're doing another one. You punk. What are you doing? Seriously, GFS? November 19th, you want to give us a hurricane near Jamaica? What are you doing? 93-mile-an-hour winds? Are you serious? Love that. Let's go back from the 6Z to the 0Z, and it has nothing. Okay? So yeah, the current run of the GFS wants a hurricane on the 19th of November near Jamaica. The 00Z did not, the 18Z did not, the 12Z did not. So I showed it to you because it's there, but like don't. One run of one model. Also, no. Jesus, GFS, why are you doing that? All right. European. Let's go back. Pressure, normalized anomaly. All right. 60 euro. Taylor says, oh, the GFS is really drunk. Yeah. All right, so there's the European kind of lowering pressure. That's as far as the 60 euro goes. We can switch over to the control run of the ensemble, and that's as far out as its run. But we can go back to the euro. We'll go to the 0Z. And it's interesting that not only is the euro bringing this system into the Gulf, but you see that? It's bringing that second one and then fading it over Cuba. And then I'm just curious for fun if the euro control has anything of that. Yeah, see, the euro control does not have that GFS cane, like the Thanksgiving cane that the GFS wants to do. So good, glad. Bad. All right, let's look at the Canadian model. So the Canadian wants to bring it to the Big Bend. But watch also how the pressure is 1,002 near the Keys, 1,001 Southwest Florida, 1,001, 1,002, 1,004. So as it's coming in, it's wanting to weaken it. I'm not saying that it's going to be a nothing, but it doesn't, thankfully this is not like a Milton, this is not a Helene, this is not, all that stuff. So there are some models that may want to bring this a little closer to us. It's just going to get I think that midweek is just going to be sloppy weather. I think that that's what we're kind of looking at here. All right. Ensembles are always a good way to view things. Multi-member, member-wise minimum. All right, so this is the GFS. Low locations. And you kind of see once they get into, so notice that once these get into the Gulf, once they get into the Gulf, you see how there's a few. So there's multiple ways to look at this depending on. So this is kind of when there's a bunch of sloppiness, but when we want to get into the nitty gritty, this is the way to look at it. Notice the number of lows. I'm not going to count them, but you see how the number of lows is. We'll just say that there's a decent number of lows here. That's 18Z on Wednesday, so that's going to be 1 p.m. Wednesday. Watch how I go through time and there's fewer lows because it's shallowing out. It's not as low, it's weakening. So it's expecting a tropical storm or something to get into the Gulf. And then as it gets there, it's like wind shear, wind shear, wind shear. It kind of starts to succumb to that wind shear a little bit. Okay, so there's that. So that's the GFS. Looking at the Euro ensemble, I would suspect it'd be about the same. Oh, it's just running the 6C. All right, so you don't have the Euro ensembles like you would have had if I was on normal time. Remember, there's more lows, but the Euro has more ensemble members than the GFS. Okay? All right, so watch, and there's fewer lows. So again, weakening as it gets into the Gulf. And you've kind of got two camps. One brings it off to the west, one kind of brings it off to the east. So, thankfully, I don't think that there's any surprises. We're not expecting any surprises for now. It does look like there's going to be a tropical storm. Raphael is the next name. It does look like that tropical storm will, one way, shape, or form, impact us. I think it's probably going to be more along the lines of sloppiness. Okay? Now, sloppiness can do its work because sloppiness means rain. Okay, let's look at the American GFS model when it comes to rain over the next couple of days. All right, so it's saying 2 to 3 inches of rain widespread. European. Okay. So there's a decent amount of rain that does look to come into our forecast, and that's why we are watching for the potential of flooding for our area on Wednesday, and we're watching for the potential of flooding in our area on Thursday. So again, no hype, no worries, no massive concerns, but it does look like we're going to have some tropical activity in our area bringing us rainfall. Murph says that's nothing for rain. We good. Totally fine with that. If you can handle that, totally fine. Some areas are teetering on the edge after the recent storms, so it's important to at least make mention. Right? Taylor says we don't need any more water on the East Coast. Volusia County flooded significantly, so there is a worry for water. That's why we're talking about it. So November is typically the driest month for Central Florida. So to that point, a decent little rain event. And then there's also the idea that, remember, we are establishing our long range pattern for next year. So, because of that, this plays into that. Okay. So, yeah, we'll have to watch these paths and just kind of get an idea. But it does look like Wednesday and Thursday are going to be fairly sloppy, wet days for us. All right. 60% coverage of rain could even be higher. We'll have to see how it plays out. All right. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. Jeannie says, nothing has been very typical this year. Par for the course. It's true. It's true. Taylor says, there's still water on the road because the city never pumped it out next to LPGA and Clyde Morris. Last couple of days, it just made it to the shoulder instead of the middle of the lane. So, yeah, that's why when we look at a decent rain event, there is a bit of a concern. The Keach-Byram Drought Index, this looks at soil moisture. And no surprise, we're not in the deepest blues, thank goodness, but we get a decent amount, and this is basically soil moisture. So soil is quite moist still for each one of our Central Florida counties. All right. All right. So I'll just share Futurecast as far out as it will go on our local scale. All right. We did the wide shot. Locally, a couple of sprinkles here or there. Nothing crazy today. Looking pretty good. We'll roll through to tonight. Couple of showers overnight. Tomorrow, looking beautiful. I've got my instrument flight tomorrow. That'll be fun. A few showers into Tuesday. But right there, like you can see, Tuesday afternoon, the cloud shield starts to roll in and more moisture around, and that's as far out as it goes. Yeah. So you can definitely tell that there's a shield of more moisture moving in Tuesday night. All right. All right. How many times can we say sloppy during coffee? I know. I know. We'll beat that, I'm sure, later on this week. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything at all? Do we have anything? Anything? How we doing? Anything at all? Melbourne was rainy yesterday and the day before, right? Yeah, and the day before. So there we go. All right. All right, listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. We will talk to y'all later. Sound good? All right. Bye.